Eamonn Mallie, an Irish journalist and author. Mr. Mallie, thanks for joining us. My description of you doesn't bear testimony to your great knowledge of the whole issue of Northern Ireland, the Troubles, the whole story, so please forgive me for that. But we'll give you time to express yourself, sir. How much are you concerned about this no-deal Brexit scenario that's looming?
Well, from a personal point of view, I can't enter into that, but my observations are the following: that failure to get agreement in Brussels will have catastrophic consequences for this island, on the two parts of this island, Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom, and the Republic of Ireland, which is an independent sovereign state. We're divided by a border, and effectively the border between Northern Ireland, in which I live, and the Republic of Ireland will be the new European border if Brexit is implemented, if the British government decide and finally pull out of Europe. So the consequences will be far-reaching.
How negative an effect, that's a presumption on my part, how negative an effect is this having already where you are?
It's a paralyzing business. People are not expanding. They're putting everything on hold. In the Republic of Ireland, for example, the advisory body for farmers have written to all farmers, basically saying to them, we don't think it would be prudent to invest a lot of money in farming this year because we do not know, as of now, what the fallout will be arising from Brexit. I know farmers in the Republic of Ireland poised to pump £250,000 into their farms, and I think they're putting everything on hold. They're so terrified of the consequences. The reality is Theresa May has come here. She's guaranteed everybody there will be no hard border, but that is subject to Theresa May winning concessions from Europe, essentially making a major alteration to the backstop. But the cards are not in Theresa May's hands. Those cards are in the hands of Europe and in the hands of the Irish government and the EU as a whole. Mrs. May have aspirations to try and change the backstop, which is which is going to govern free movement here on the island of Ireland. But she doesn't have the cards to play. It's totally dependent on the cooperation of Juncker and Tusk and the European countries.
Indeed, it's out of Theresa May's hands, and that seems to be the consensus for most people, apart from Theresa May. Eamonn Mallie, the situation regarding the Good Friday Agreement, Theresa May was accused in the House of Commons last week of ripping it up. Is that too strong? Is it not going that far? Or do you think there is a real risk of issues from the bad old days re-emerging?
One cannot be sure of this. It is worrying. The Good Friday Agreement at this moment in time is suffering from a deep, deep attack of inertia. There's paralysis all around. We do not have a government in Northern Ireland at this point in time. We had a devolved administration here. That is no longer functioning in Northern Ireland. The cross-border bodies, that's the bodies which met with a common interest on both sides of the border in Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, those bodies are not meeting at all. So there is paralysis. The whole Brexit issue and the breakdown in relationships between the Democratic Unionist Party, the party which is in bed with Prime Minister May, keeping her in government, that breakdown with Republicans and the Democratic Unionist Party is so bad. When you put that side by side with the controversy over Brexit, and Mrs. May's partners are part of the right wing, what I call the Tea Party within the Conservative Party, which is blocking progress at the moment because they want the backstop ripped away, killed off totally. Now, Mrs. May is trying to get some timeline or a deadline, and possibly the backstop to operate for 4 or 5 years with a guarantee at the end of that time that the backstop disappears. The Irish government is having none of that, and neither is Donald Tusk nor Mr. Juncker.
What do people want, sir, where you are, the people you speak to? What is it they want?
They want absolute stability and constancy and guarantee of freedom of movement, freedom of people. This place has enjoyed considerable progress in recent times. The deal which Mrs. May brought back from Europe would have given a particular special case to Northern Ireland, it would have been a possible crock of gold at the end of our rainbow. The very party which is in government with Mrs. Thatcher, the Democratic Unionist Party, is vehemently opposed to the backstop, and as a result opposed the deal that Mrs. Thatcher brought back to Northern Ireland, which would have been so good for us all here, Catholics and Protestants. And people in France should realise that the majority of people in Northern Ireland, la plupart, voted to stay within Europe. The Democratic Unionist Party is a minority aspiring to leave Europe and to protect what they see as the totality of the United Kingdom. They want Northern Ireland to remain irretrievably, irreparably, incontrovertibly part of the whole of the United Kingdom. They don't want any derogation, any special case for Northern Ireland. Now, Mrs. May thinks she can still realise a situation where we don't have a hard border. How she's going to magic this is an imponderable, and nobody knows exactly the answer to it.
Eamonn Mallie, thank you, sir, very much for joining us. We appreciate time, and thank you for sharing your analysis of the situation with us. And we here at France 24 will continue. Thank you, sir, once again, and we'll continue to bring you all developments, of course, on the story of Brexit and, of course, the implications, as Eamonn Mallie was outlining there, for the Irish border and the people on either side of it.